Hey, another year, another dollar. Now, this is a game that technically came out at the end of 2016, but this time last year was when I played it, and arguably so much work has gone into it over the past 365 days that it's almost a whole new game at this point. What continues to surprise and impress me about this game is the development process behind it and the amount of effort being spent on it. Coming from the field of study I did, I can tell you that this game, the technology behind it, and the way it was all put together is the best case scenario we'd only talk about in theory in our classes. We discussed this perfect software engineering utopia where all sorts of management concepts would be applied, but preparing us for industry jobs, we all kinda knew it was a fairy tale. Nobody actually builds software like we were being taught, but then comes Final Fantasy to straight finalize something that only existed in fantasy. Sadly, it makes me wonder how they rationalize or justify so much effort spent. Half of me hopes that the game has been financially successful enough to fund itself, but seeing things like the CEO putting himself in the game for special events makes the other half of me believe that the only reason we're still seeing features continuously integrate themselves into this year-old finished product is because the people behind it are incredibly passionate. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, that's great. I just wish that their unique and credit-worthy process was enough to drive interest in sales and keep the thing going. I wish more people could look at how this game is being made and just appreciate it and perceive it with as much awe as I do. I wish more people could understand that when it comes to this game, unlike others, your class of stakeholder isn't just at the end user level, but is much higher. I'm so excited to play the PC release of this game with all the new features such as all the party members being controllable in combat and the first-person mode, as well as stuff like paid extra chapters. Once it looks like things have cooled down, I can't wait to have a brand new experience with this game that has already proven itself to be one of my favorite games of recent times. Going back though to the experience I did have, Final Fantasy XV proved last year that linear stories have a potential to be presented much better in open-world structures through a well-paced delivery and mastery of meaningful immersive systems. It sucks that developers of systems disconnected from direct gameplay got a bit of slack from other teams, but the fact that every system melds so well with every other is a testament to how effectively these people were able to work together. Good stuff. After Final Fantasy XV, I thought I had decided that the sort of restrictive open-world experience it offered was the type I preferred, especially after the last open-world game I had played was Metal Gear Solid 5. But then, on a whim, I got a Switch and Zelda and ended up making 2 videos with goofy titles about how much I thought that game mattered. I realize now it's not one structure or the other. Both types of experiences can coexist. Final Fantasy XV, due to the way it delivers its challenges, is able to outclass Zelda in some areas. I would argue, for example, despite both games being extremely immersive, Final Fantasy XV is more so in the traditional media sense. By doing things like making you drive with your buddies and fight with your buddies and camp with your buddies and eat with your buddies, giving all of them unique traits and personalities, having them each flex at different points in the game, or by painting some extremely technical system, for example the photography AI, with the personality and expressiveness of one of the characters. Through these things, the game is able to immerse you in its world, just as you could get immersed in a really good book or movie universe. Breath of the Wild doesn't do that as much or as well at all, but the way it achieves immersiveness is through player expression. In the game, you can do whatever you want. You can just ditch everything and roam around for hours. The game never offers any resistance to anything you might want to do. It's great. I've already spoken enough about it, and odds are you've already heard enough other people talk about it. It's probably the best video game to come out this year. Bless up, fam. Battle Mode Royale is a game that has received a criminally low amount of attention, and I hope to correct that today. In fact, this game is really the main reason I wanted to make this video, to introduce some people to it. Nobody I have ever shown this to has been disappointed, and honestly, I don't know if there's a better way to get you into this than by just showing you the first episode, but I'll try. So, anyone remember YouTube back in 2006? I do. Back then, I was a kid, so it made sense I'd end up typing into the search bar something like real-life Pokemon battle, and one of the videos that would have popped up is this one. Now, see this grainy as fuck dude over here? Yeah, this is a 12-year younger version of Zeeff, main channel being BigZeeff. Now, surprisingly, it's possible that this isn't the only reason you might already be familiar with Mr. Zeeff. This is not his only run-in with viral popularity. You might recognize him from, among many other things, some special appearances on American Ninja Warrior, but anyways. Kevin's most impressive, passion-filled, and honestly freaking amazing project is something called Battle Mode Royale, and sadly it hasn't had the sort of luck his other runaway hits have. Written a very long time ago and in production for well over 4 years, Battle Mode Royale, a web series produced by BigZeeff and friends and loosely based on one of their old viral videos, Real Life Super Smash Bros. Brawl, tells the story of a collection of video game characters held hostage by some shady organization and forced to fight to the death on an island in a live broadcasted event. It's basically a cross between Hunger Games and Smash Bros, except with a much broader cast, incredible gore, and honestly some of the funniest comedy video writing I've bared witness to. The main character of the series, and one of the many roles Kevin himself plays, is a washed-up Sonic. Some episodes don't feature him at all, but most, especially the early ones, tell the story from his perspective. Kevin's oblivious and pessimistic Sonic makes for a great lead in a series that has people brutally murdering each other each and every episode. The special effects typically have this great sweeted aesthetic. A lot of them are practical and some are meta as heck. There's a scene where Kevin breaks out of character to mention how long it took to render an animation going on in the background. It's full of the sort of jokes that literally only work in the medium of video.
They're not even paying attention to us. I spent all fucking night on this Adobe After Effects graphic and you're not even looking. Shit.
If you're a video editor, you need to watch this. And it's not that the effects are bad because these guys are bad at making videos. You have to realize that all of this is intentional. This is supposed to look like this. It makes you feel like an active member of the video's production as a viewer. Like, there's one character, Phoenix Wright, who for some reason is always green screened into every scene he's in. I honestly don't know if it's because the actor worked remotely or if it was on purpose, but it's hilarious when you start seeing them do workarounds to pull off interactions between him and other characters because he's not there. The actors are all absolute goofs. Each of their personalities and attributes are taken to the extreme, and all of the actors have, believe it or not, excellent performances. Like, they're all friends and they're all invested in it. So, like, for example, Tom Nook is selected to fight with everyone, but because he's crap, instead of fighting, he sets up a shop in the middle and sells weapons and body parts of other participants, hiring other people who aren't born fighters, like the Tetris block, to work for him. And by the way, this Tetris block guy, it's such a simple effect, but like, he has a scene later on that's so dramatic, I almost cried. I almost cried over this dude. It's honestly unbelievable how Zeeff is able to control the tone of these episodes so well. So anyways, Tom Nook sets up a shop, and Snake, also played by Kevin, tries to buy something but doesn't have enough money. So to make a point about everything in the store costing an arm and a leg, and because Snake's character is the stereotypically badass super soldier type, there's this scene where he just, out of nowhere, cuts his own arm off and gives it to the shop. It's like the most absurd, ridiculous crap, but it's great. Now, as you may have noticed, I'm trying not to show any deaths in the clips here, because Kevin actually has made the show kind of interactive. Every episode ended with a poll in the description to vote on who you thought would die in the next episode, and at the end, people with the most accurate guesses would win, and at the end of each episode, he would also count how accurate everybody's guesses were. I mean, it's kind of late now, but the series isn't over yet. It's winding up for the finale, finally, after all these years, and I don't want to spoil anything for you. Look, straight up, Battle Mode Royale is one of my favorite creations I've seen anyone do online. And it's ridiculous to me that BigZeeff has almost as many subscribers as me and pulls in less views than I do sometimes. Some of these episodes sit there with less than 1,000 views, and that, to me, is a travesty. This is such a good series, and I would hate to see it go out, to end, to have a finale, without a proper audience there to care about it. Guys, Zeeff is, I think, one of the greatest entertainers on this platform. Battle Mode Royale is an amazing series. It's proof that anyone can make good movies with enough time and work. Go watch episode 1 right now. Stop this. Open a new tab, go get it, drop it in your watch later playlist or something. Just do it now. Trust me, you will not regret this. Let's all watch the last few episodes together, fam. I'm so grateful I was recommended it a while ago, and I'm so excited to see how the heck he's gonna wrap this whole thing up. Now, who recommended Battle Mode Royale to me, you ask? That's a very good question. .3GI is the best channel on YouTube. Hands down, nobody else even matters. I don't think there's anyone on this platform anywhere near the level these guys are at, and let me explain to you why. .3GI is what the future of comedy troupes looks like, and they are the only ones I'm aware of doing this sort of entertainment. They're most known for their Super Smash Bros. Tournament videos, which in reality are filmed sessions of what's really like an actual real-life fight club, with the twist being that it's gaming and Smash Bros. Themed. So basically, these folks dress up as characters and use all sorts of props to actually beat the crap out of each other. These guys are like throwing straight fireworks, not firecrackers, but fireworks at each other. They're shooting paintballs at each other. It's crazy. If that doesn't sell you on this, I don't know what will.
David Sheff has written a book about the dangers of video games.
Kids who play a lot, there's not a lot going on mentally.
This is the video game that ignited the controversy.
Wait until they get out in a situation where they're fighting, and then they'll think about this and try to make it real.
And if it weren't enough that they're actually fighting and breaking glass over each other's heads, the videos are edited so interestingly. This guy here is Grant. He's the editor of the team and for all intents and purposes, the frontman. This dude is legend tier entertainer, god tier entertainer. And his editing style borrows all of the best traits of like YouTube poop, but also kind of mimics like old Bill Nye episodes, if you know what I'm talking about. He'll often do things like include cartoon sound effects or sample one sound throughout the whole video as a running gag or a motif.
Grant, what's your address? Hi, I'd like to place an order for delivery. My last name is
Pepperoni.
Okay, my address is...
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni?
Yeah, I'd like half just pepperoni, and then half pepperoni.
Pepperoni?
Yeah,
What size?
family size.
Pardon?
Family size pepperoni.
Do you want small, medium, large? Pepperoni?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Pepperoni?
Family size.
He does the sorts of things within the medium of video that are only possible within the medium of video. Half of the comedy isn't written or performed, it's in the video. There are jokes embedded into the very idea of displaying 30 to 60 images per second on a screen with accompanying audio. That's how deep this dude goes. It's top notch. I love Grant's editing and his personality that he expresses through it. If you want to know where my style and aesthetic have come from, hopefully you'll see that in him. His style is what I think has inspired mine the most. He's the kind of guy who's not afraid to fully invest in an idea that'll totally fly over the heads of half the audience. Like, I'll give you an example. Some of his transitions are legendary. In between battles in the Smash 4 tournament, a few layers of printed photographs of the last frame on screen would pop up held by popsicle sticks. And see this cutout of the Wii Fit trainer here? I actually own this piece of paper because on their site where they sell custom shirts, and by custom I mean you write a description of what you want and these dudes straight go to Walmart and buy a t-shirt and then draw on it with markers. But anyways, when you order anything from them, they include with it a random piece of trash from some video, and I got this. It's been in the background of a ton of my old videos, and honestly, until I got it, I was oblivious to the fact that these screens in the Smash video were a practical effect and not a special one. That they actually cut out all the characters and held them up with popsicle sticks and dangled little papers on strings, and that they did all of this on camera. Another absolutely ridiculous transition they've done that comes to mind is in the second short film of their Tales from the Creep series, a Shrek-themed parody trilogy. In Jurassic Swamp, there's a part where the video goes absolutely nuts for a second and then fades into a shot of a dude who's wearing a graphic shirt that has printed on it the screen you were just looking at. I only noticed this on my third viewing of this video, but this is the sort of visual gag that requires extreme commitment and kind of puts the whole video's production on hold. The thing with their videos is that on the surface level there are tons of jokes to catch, like having one of the miniature helicopters flying around still in the packaging, but if you're willing to invest more attention, there's always a payoff. In a podcast-style show they run in the summers, which is, by the way, where they recommended Mode Royale, Grant was once asked what his favorite game was, and his answer was video editing. If he hasn't unlisted it, I'll play that clip out for a second.
That's my favorite game. I don't know. I really do consider video editing a video game. Because the way you look at it, there's a bunch of different weapons, i.e. tools. You can use the blade tool, the hand tool, arrow tool. You can go into different modes. It's just a puzzle. It's really a puzzle. And I think the end goal of the puzzle is to get it in the order that tells the story the absolute best. And when it comes to efficiency, I believe there is only one way to do it most efficiently. People say, yeah, video making is an art, and there's no wrong or right way to do art. But when I think about video editing, I think there's only one way to tell the story most efficiently. There's one good way and then millions of inferior ways. So in order to find that one good way, you really have to work that puzzle.
But then beyond videos, these guys are never afraid to just do anything if the outcome will be funny. You've probably heard of an event in Wisconsin called Shrekfest, right? Well, these are the dudes who run it. But listen to this. They did it because a fake rumor was spreading about a Shrek festival taking place in an attempt to prank people, I guess, to just show up at some random park on some random day. But after getting goofed themselves by it, 3GI actually called up their city and managed to actually throw together an official event on the original date described in the prank. They made a lame joke into a reality, and now Shrekfest is an annual event that tons of people get excited for each year and attend. These guys are multi-platform, multimedia entertainers. They describe themselves as a comedy troupe, and I think that in 2017 or 2018, that's really what they are, and they're kind of redefining that idea of what a comedy troupe really is. I mean, even their freaking website is a piece of entertainment. If you haven't already opened them up in a new tab, I suggest you do now. My recommendation is that you start with Smash Tournament 2, which will give you the context required to watch what is probably their best video so far, and honestly, I think the best video on YouTube ever. Smash Tournament 3. 3 is so good. I've heard it described as like, when you finish that 48-minute video, you feel like you have friends. And honestly, I don't think I could do that any more justice than that. It's nuts. I don't have a segue for this one, but Twitter gets number 4 Game of the Year. It's no secret that developers of all sorts of social networking systems have been applying gamification into their apps to get people more interested and involved, but what people seem to forget sometimes is that you can personally turn anything into a game by just setting goals for yourself. Over the past year, my self-determined goal on Twitter was to have as much fun as possible with it, and through this, a set of sub-goals were made that I met. For instance, at some point, I decided I wanted to get the attention of Handsome Black from writing on games, and by goodness gracious, was it fun. This was an adventure that led to the creation of the critically acclaimed, but not affiliated with Tony Hawk, Twitter account HamBobsBicep, among many other things. And honestly, I don't know how any of what I did wasn't considered just straight up harassment, but at the end of the day, HamBob hit the Quan, so I guess it worked. I mean, just letting all care for anything go has been a great strategy for having fun on Twitter. It's led to such great moments as the time UNCUT sent me free merch after I made fun of the t-shirt model on their site, or the time Nicky Six, a bassist and songwriter of Motley Crue, agreed with Hamish and Nico that he did in fact look like an older 80s rock version of me. Or the time David Jaffe, who made God of War and Twisted Metal, indirectly called me an idiot. These were great moments I could have never had were it not for the fact that, to me, Twitter is 100% pure bants. Nothing else. No ham, just bants. I have legitimately had more fun with Twitter over the past year than I have with some games. Straight up G. We're in top 3 territory now, which is where things tend to get pretty controversial, but here I feel like it's undisputed that Getting a Job, the sequel to last year's Do School, was a great title to come out in 2017. It managed to really rework all of the systems from the last game to the point that it's basically a whole different experience. Playing the previous game in the series will definitely give you a leg up, but you don't need it to start the game. The goal of Getting a Job, much like Twitter, is self-determined. It has collectathon elements like Mario Odyssey, and some people are in it just for that, to walk around aimlessly and collect coins simply for the sake of collecting coins. Others are more interested in the social aspects of it, and others still treat it like a gauntlet of boss rushes, just battle after battle until their reward for beating the final boss, becoming the boss themselves. Personally, my main goal has always been to learn. I've said this before, but if I could realistically just be paid to go to school, like be a professional student, I would. I love learning new things and being able to teach other people new things, and I think for a long time just being a student was a part of my identity, to such a degree that after graduating I was filled with anxiety about making videos. I had this realization that the majority of my best videos were ideas I had in classrooms or just application of knowledge from courses. I stopped and thought, crap, if I'm not learning anything new, how am I going to find new things to say about games and new ways to express them? It was really tearing at me for a while. I got over it, but still, it made me realize how much, maybe not necessarily education, but learning mattered to me, how much I valued it. So to me, finding a job that allowed me to learn, something as close to that fantasy of being a professional student, finding a place that wanted somewhat of a blank slate to teach was literally the best case scenario. And it happened, and I'm so happy with how supportive everyone has been. Now, does it also feel great to finally be making real money after 4 years of being a broke student? Absolutely. It's great to be able to afford your own place and comfortably operate, but I feel like not working on things you legitimately care about and are willing to commit yourself to would suck. A lot. And I'm glad I'm not in that situation. That's why Getting a Job takes number 3 on this list. Though there was one problem related to the game. Adding it to your library kind of messed with stuff. The installation was a bit faulty, and as you may have heard, many people actually had their save files for other games corrupted. As a result of this, my experience in one of my favorite games of the past few years was affected, and so I had to catch up with it. This one's kind of cheap again because technically it didn't come out in 2017, but replaying it this year renewed my love for it, so I'm going to count it, and it's going to be taking number 2 on this Game of the Year list. Making friends has probably been the most important game I've played in 2017, and I see myself continuing to play in 2018. Much like Breath of the Wild, the game's interconnected systems allow for this immersive and complex experience where any player can pretty much try any strategy or tactic they want, and the game always responds properly, at least without resistance. Everything's a stim, everything's a response. I'm sorry, by the way, I'm halfway through this. Apparently all my neighbors have collectively agreed that now is the time to vacuum and just straight smash things all over the floors, my ceiling on the left over here, over there too. Literally surrounded. The only wall that isn't producing noise right now is this one over here, and it's because it's a window. So I've been very careful not to have any of it get picked up on the microphone, but I'm hearing a beeping now. But just in case any is, I apologize. This is just not the best situation right now. Now also, much like Breath of the Wild, the game can be broken down using graph theory. 3 very important underlying mechanics in the game that expert players will know to take advantage of are triadic closure, focal closure, and membership closure. These concepts can be used by players to find the best places to insert themselves as a node and complete objectives, aka make friends. Triadic closure is the idea that in a graph containing 3 nodes, A, B, and C, If nodes A and B are connected by an edge, and so are B and C, and that nodes represent people and edges represent friendships, then it's likely that A and C will also become friends, closing the triangle, hence the name, triadic closure. Focal closure is very similar, except it involves a special new node type, a focus node. Say A and B are people, and gaming is a hobby that both of them participate in. As a result of their shared interest in that same thing, there's a good chance that A and B will form a friendship. This is focal closure, closing a triangle based on a focus. Membership closure, as you can imagine, is a situation where A is a gamer, but their friend B isn't. In this situation, since B's friend is a gamer, odds are B will also become a gamer. There's also a notion of balance in social friendship networks that needs to be considered. Some edges are weighted, and some can be positive or negative. In a situation like this, for example, one where the United States and China are friends, North Korea and China are friends, and the United States and North Korea are enemies, the graph is said to be imbalanced. It isn't at equilibrium and is guaranteed to change. But you can also use shared enemies as a reason to form a bond. I have a friend that says all it takes to make friends is to get crunk and figure out that the two of you hate the same thing, which I tend to agree with, and so does the theory. But everything that's happened to me in my experience this year making friends can be attributed to at least one of these concepts from graph theory, and in moving forward, I've really been trying to leverage these properties of graphical relationships to most effectively and efficiently beat this game, dude. At least catch up to where I used to be. Look, straight up, real talk for a second. Life is really weird, especially when it comes to friendships once you get to the whole higher education scene. School is tough and all, but it's also this amazing place where friends just fall into your lap. You meet great people, you're given the opportunity to really bond and get to know them by working together. In higher levels where things get more competitive, the dominant strategy is to avoid switching up your party and just stick with one from the beginning. So much of your grade, whether you realize it or not, is tied to how well you're able to work together with your team, which, something the schools will never recognize, is the sort of thing that gets better the longer you do it. So what you want to do is form a clique, build a team in first year, and then just ride all the way through with the same people. I'm not lying when I say that literally everyone I knew who graduated in my program did that. Everyone stuck together in the groups they formed at the beginning, partly out of necessity, since half the classes grade your performance relative to all the other students. But once you finish school and you get to the sequel, a job, stuff changes. First of all, the friends you've made, you go from seeing them daily to barely seeing them, then making new friends. Holy crap, is it rough. Where you're working right out of school, odds are most people aren't your age or have other responsibilities. You're also starting from scratch all over again, so you have to meet everyone and try to learn everything about them. And also, most of them are probably already friends or enemies with each other. The workplace is at an equilibrium, so it's hard to inject yourself into an already balanced network of coworkers. So the act of making friends, this once natural process that almost felt like it was happening behind the scenes, is now something you have to work so hard on. If you want to go from acquaintances to friends with people, it's a grind. It's awkward. You're going to have to use all those special items and power moves you've been saving up from the beginning, like somersaults and breakdances. You'll be going absolutely bananas, just like as a show, like a primitive display of body language to say, hello, I am crazy and I want to have friends that think this is cool. Please join me, I am a lonely boy fam. And even after all that, no matter how hard you try, there's still a chance people will be completely unresponsive to it because, lest we forget, this isn't a single-player game, it's an MMO. All of your competitors are real people who make up this ecosystem, and some have already reached their self-set goals. Some have different goals than you. Not only is it hard to make friends, but it's hard to make the types of friends you used to have, and it's hard to read your opponents to tell what they're looking for. But you have to try, because if someone is trying to be your friend, you have to feed them back that read, otherwise you're just block canceling each other or something. What do I know about fighting games? Nothing. But making friends can happen in other contexts too. For instance, if you're a part of my audience, it's likely you watch other video essayist creators online also, and if so, it should be no surprise to you that many of us are good friends with each other and regularly shoot the ship. You've probably noticed how often we all bant with each other on Twitter or in podcasts, or in my case just straight up on screen, and this is all because of focal closure. You hear people complain a lot about modern communication technologies weakening people's social skills, but through my experiences, I would say I feel like we have the same quantity of in-person social interaction as generations before us. Just now, our reach extends far beyond physical limitations. I have friends all over the world that I may or may not ever meet, and that I've met purely as a result of focal closure, of all of us either being interested in or doing the same sorts of things, and honestly, that's magic. That's how you should look at it. We live in a world where a dude in Canada can pose as a Scottish dude's bicep and then become friends with said Scottish dude. Describe that sort of world where that sort of thing can happen without magic or harassment, whatever. And focal closure. This is how I was introduced to the game that tops this list. The game that I had the most fun playing in 2017. The game that I think you all know very well, that I'm sure you knew would top this list as soon as you saw me drop a top games of the year video. Ladies and gentlemen, my pick for number one most important, most influential, and most downright fun game of 2017 is
Dennis, how's it going? What do you need this for?
Kevin,
Yes.
I got something really important to tell you.
Are you proposing right now?
No, I just want to tell you that it's you.
What is this?
It's you.
What do you?
It's you.
What do you mean it's me?
It's you.
What?
It was you the whole time. I knew since the year started, I knew it was you.
What?
It's you.
Who is me?
It's you. Not who is you. What is you?
Wii U. Nintendo's hit system.
No,
Fallout
not that at all. But it's you the whole time.
What are you talking?
It was you the whole time. Had so much fun. It was a great time.
You mean the Phantom from your videos?
No, I mean, don't worry. It's you. It's been great.
Okay.
It's been a lot of fun. Probably the most fun of anything of this time period. So, it's you. Just want to let you know that.
Okay.
It's you.
Just what is this cryptic like this saying?
It's you. It's you.
Number two Scottish internet boyfriend for Dennis.
It's you.
Number two Scottish internet boyfriend.
It's you.
Second only to Irish Black.
It's you. It's you. It's you. It was always you.
He has no idea what I'm talking about. He has no idea that I just announced that he was the game of the year. He has no idea what the fuck we're gonna come down. He just left. Wait.
Kevin, it's you!
Kevin, or as he's known here on YouTube, BobbyBroccoli, is the title I had the most fun with in 2017. Kevin and I met as a result of the closure of multiple focuses. See, he and I share a ridiculous amount of characteristics. We both write video essays, we both blew up with SpongeBob-related views, like, we're the top 2 results for many YouTube searches, including but not limited to a Battle for Bikini Bottom review, or at least we were until Cooper pulled up on the block. Dude, okay, listen to us. We've been down this road. We need to warn you of where you're going before it's too late. You're running head first into a curse, fam. Yo, hit us up. And the two of us were also engineering students. I had recognized BobbyBroccoli for always showing up in my related videos, and legend has it that Kevin was first introduced to me after including a picture of Jack Black in a video he made once, and a commenter asking if that was me. It was only after meeting within the context of a video essayist Discord server that we realized that I lived in Montreal. Yeah, I didn't even know where I lived all my life. I just walking around like, where the heck even am I? I don't even know where I lived my entire life. Growing up as a kid, I'm like, what is the world? I didn't even know. I started talking to Kevin, I realized, wow, I live in Montreal. No, okay. But, yeah, so we realized that we actually lived really close to one another. I'm out here in Montreal, and Kevin was in Ottawa, so like 2 hours away from each other. After Kevin landed a co-op summer internship near Montreal, though, we realized that there was some higher power at play here. A whole summer in the same city, fam, the stage was set. Having Kevin around was a good time. To be honest, I kind of had neglected, like, living life properly while in school. Not for nothing, I finished with great grades, but, like, I still struggle with stuff like bar etiquette, just because I can probably count the number of times I've visited pubs I've been to in my entire life on my 2 hands. But like, having someone around who was visiting was an excuse to basically tour my own city and just explore and stuff. Having him around also helped me perceive how little free time I had been allotting myself recently and how much I wanted that to change. We tried to do stuff as often as possible, but I realized that some weekends were just being packed beyond my control, and this limited my ability to just do whatever I wanted to do or make last-minute plans, which has been a valuable lesson that is definitely going to have an impact on my life moving forward, I think. Having him around was also good because of how much we were able to relate to one another. For as particular as I thought the attributes of my life are, it's kind of special to know that you're not alone, that there's someone going through basically the same exact thing you are. We're able to talk about the sorts of videos we wanted to make, the sorts of videos some of our video essay friends were making, the direction we wanted to take our careers and hobbies into, how to maximize our fun in every possible way through our common interests. On one of our first nights out, Kevin told me about a motto of his: commit to the bit, which, all jokes aside, is something I've really been taking seriously. It's all about execution. If you come up with a funny idea, a goofy plot, a bit, stop worrying and just commit to it. Commit to the bit. That night, commit to the bit resulted in me just walking into a hairdresser at like 8 at night to wash my ice cream covered hands, and then it was just uphill from there. I mean, committing to the bit allowed us to leverage what social media presence we had to get a free picture and round of shots out of a bar that followed and banted with us on Twitter, who we also, might I add, brought a birthday cake to. This is the sort of thing that would not have happened had the two of us not merged our powers and done an ultimate Twitter goof and committed to the bit. Stunts of this sort are definitely something I'm gonna miss. You know, just being able to do stupid, weird things with a buddy who is in the same situation as me and gets it. Yo, real talk. Now that Kevin has left, I straight miss him. Like, if it weren't for him being around, there's a lot I wouldn't have done over the past few months, you know, having graduated and started a job. I would have missed out on a whole adventure with a dude who was just down for literally whatever and literally whenever. Yo, bit of insider information regarding BobbyBroccoli right here, but this dude operates on no sleep. Like, he was living out on the West Island, so like an hour minimum between where he was to Centreville, just because of how buses and trains work. But like, we'd call it a night at like 11:30 on weekdays sometimes, and he'd somehow manage to be rested enough to work the next day at like 9, even though he got home well past midnight and probably stayed up like watching YouTube videos. Fam, this dude is nuts. Now that he's gone, I'm pretty spooked I'm gonna get lost in me. I got a taste of that fun life I missed out on in exchange for good grades over my 4 years of uni, and now I kind of regret missing out on it. Sure, a report card is worth something, but memories and experiences are worth more. Like, the way I look at it, it's statistically impossible for me to ever click with a dude like Kevin ever again, unless there's another SpongeBob game reviewing YouTube engineering student living in the Montreal area that I'm unaware of. And so I know in all future cases, I'm gonna have to work my bum off to click at that same level with any pals again. Like, what Kevin and I had was just pure Mother Nature, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, if I had to pick a gaming highlight of 2017, it'd be BobbyBroccoli. I had more fun with this dude than I did with any games I played, and I want to have more life experiences like that moving forward, and I think that's about the 4th time I've said that, so maybe this is as good a time as any to wrap things up, you know? Kevin, I love you, dude. I miss you, dude. Have a great year. Good luck with your courses, bruh, and fam, please go check out Kevin's channel. I don't want to spoil anything, because naming him Game of the Year is going to be a surprise to him, but he has a video coming out also very soon that's special, and I think you'll be really interested in and you'll probably really like, so go check him out and stay tuned for it unless it's already out, in which case, just watch it right now and enjoy it, and remember to commit to the bit, and that's about it. Anyways, 2017 was a good year for good games, lots of good games, lots of good times, lots of good laughs, good loves, good life experiences, and with that being said, and with you as my witnesses, I'd like to formally introduce you to and welcome you to the future of gaming.
The future of gaming is in streaming.
Future of gaming. Think, goddammit, think.
So, the future of gaming is VR.
No more physical media, not even downloads. It's all in streaming.
The future of gaming.
Zeeff.
No, wait, that's the wrong one. Wait.
The future of gaming
As soon as our internet connections and ISP providers can give better internet speeds upwards around 100 megs to even a gigabit averages around the world, it's going streaming, baby. That's the future.
The future of gaming.
The future of gaming and the future of gaming. The future of gaming is here.
For the record, I just wrote that whole outro with the future of gaming, and I committed to it. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna say it, and I have no plan of what I'm gonna put when I say the future. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So, yeah, whatever the heck just showed up, it was either disappointment or it was good stuff. But yeah, goodbye. Hope this video came out before the end of the year. If it didn't, I don't care. If it did, good for you. Yeah, so that's it.
This song's actually like legit okay. Like it's pretty good.
Dude, you need to like learn how to feel ashamed.
What are your top 5 SpongeBob songs?
Tell us in the comments below.